Here we are today with David, controller of Kars4Kids. Thank you
Hello.
for joining us.
My greatest pleasure.
Just wanted to address some basic tax questions.
My pleasure to help. I would just like to preface by saying that I and Kars4Kids are happy to give guidance to all those that are wondering on how to go about donating their car to charity. But since each and every specific scenario may differ, they should speak to their accountant or tax advisor to double check that everything is relevant to them.
Absolutely. David, many donors have this specific question, which I mentioned briefly. How much do I get for my donation? I donate my vehicle, my car, my RV, my boat. How much do I get for it? What type of value?
Sure. Kars4Kids, and generally most charities, when they receive a car for a donation, they will resell the car as fast for as high value as they can receive. One of two methods usually happen. It's either sold for parts or it's resold as a car that's going to be used as a car. Generally, a car that's sold and the sale price that the charity received is $500 or under. A regular receipt will be written out. Charity will give it to the donor. The donor can then take that receipt and use it for a fair market value up until $500. The charity doesn't decide the fair market value. The sales price does not decide the fair market value. The donor has to use their own estimate on what the fair market value is. Absolutely, up until $500. Wow. That's all that's needed. A car that's sold for over $500 by the charity, in that case, the charity is responsible to send a receipt with the sales price to the donor. The donor then can deduct from his taxes the sales price that the charity received. Of course, the charity wants to maximize the amount that they're going to get because it's good for their programs, and of course, it's good for the donor to be able to deduct as much as possible.
Interesting. You think this would apply if someone put in a lot of money and work into his vehicle? Say new tires, new brakes?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Again, the donor, when they're donating it, they know the condition of their car. If it's a lower quality car, probably it will be sold for parts, not fetch the highest sum. But the fancier the car, the more bells and whistles are in the car. If they got alarm systems or fancy rim wheels or a boosted up engine, it will be generally sold for more. And the charity will have more to fund their programs with, and the donor will get a higher tax deduction.
Nice. Everyone wins. Many donors have this question regarding, and an uncomfortable feeling regarding a social security number. How do you address that?
A charity will very often ask the donor to give over their social security number. And people hesitate. It's uncomfortable sometimes giving it to people who they don't know. Just as simplify it. Going back to what we said, a car that's sold for $500 or less, a charity will not ask for the social security number. There's no need to have it. The regular receipt that will be written out is enough for the donor to give to his accountant to file. However, a car that's sold for more than $500, what the charity is responsible to do is fill out, it's called a Form 1098-C. Put the donor's name, address, social security number. The charity files that with the IRS, sends one copy to the IRS, and sends one copy or a receipt which will be a substitute for the 1098-C to the donor. Then the donor files for his tax deduction. The IRS may match up to see that the charity gave in a 1098-C with the same person's social security number to match up. In theory, if a person will not give the charity his social security number, Kars4Kids and the charity will still issue a receipt. When that person files his tax at year end, he may get the deduction, but if the IRS did not receive the 1098-C from the charity, they may disallow the deduction. So it's obviously worthwhile for a person to give the charity. Of course, all charities, and Kars4Kids, I can say in specific, is very, very secure with the information, the private information, with the web being encrypted. All private information is kept highly confidential to maximize the security to each and every donor.
Great, great. One last question for you, David, and that is, how would you define the term tax deduction? I think many people are a little bit vague about that term.
Oh, yes. It's actually a little bit confusing. Deduction, credit. A deduction, very simply. I'll give an example. Someone made $10,000 over the course of a calendar year. It's their AGI, their adjusted gross income. Let's keep it simple. They made $10,000. The IRS will tax them. For an example, if their tax rate is 10% of the $10,000, at year end, they will have to write out a check to the IRS for $1,000, 10% of the $10,000. If a person during the course of that year donated a car to Kars4Kids, The car sold for $1,000. IRS looks at it, his income is $10,000. We're going to deduct from his income $1,000. So the IRS is going to consider that he only made $9,000 this year.
Yeah, essentially he's paying less tax.
Exactly. He's going to pay 10% on that $9,000. He's only paying $900 in taxes as opposed to the $1,000 in taxes. He saved himself $100 from donating his car to Kars4Kids. Again, same thing will work on whatever income and income bracket he's in and the value of the car. That's how your deduction works.
Sounds great. Just wanted to thank you again, David, for taking time out of your busy schedule to help us out and all the donors out there. Hopefully everyone found this handy, and happy deductions.